So Luca. So Luca. So, so Luca, Puck, and Guts are off. I still don't know how Luca got there. But anyway, they're off, and Guts literally has like the Skull Knight's words ringing in his head, kind of almost haunting him as he goes. You know, the whole "there's nothing you can do" basically speech that Skull Knight gave him. So we cut to the girls in a cell, and we get Nina being Nina. And she's all, "Save me, you're a witch." And then she hits her when she doesn't, and she's all, "Enough of you." Then profusely apologizes after the fact, like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry, I just did that." And this is the kind of character work that legitimately impresses me with Miura, because his side character work, he has made Nina so legitimately understandable, believable. You completely see her for the small, little, vulnerable person that she is, and understand through and through why and how people act like this, while simultaneously making her so just nails on a chalkboard irritating. She is simultaneously so understandable and unlikable. But then the guards come and take Nina to the torture chamber. Yay! I mean, that's mean, but I mean, we all know that this isn't going to go well. Elsewhere in the tower, Farnace is being told that she has to return home, and it's been ordered by none other than her father. And of course she blames this on the sneaky guy for some strange reason. I don't entirely understand. And he just looks like hurt, you know, that she would even think that, or not. I don't know. I don't trust that guy. Although I do kind of like him, not gonna lie. He's growing on me. But to nobody's surprise, Nina trades Casca's life for one more day of living. And I repeat, completely believable and utterly unlikable. But everybody meets up and they take Casca down to the torture chamber. And did I mention that Puck is there? Because Puck is there. He like flew ahead in order to scout or something for the group. So the group is still like trekking their way up to the tower, but Puck is just is already in the tower. And they put Casca in the Iron Maiden, and a tidal wave of demons is unleashed. And I mean, like, seriously, I've been reading this for like 10 pages, and we're already here at the outpouring of demons. It's just, yeah, this is gonna start moving, and it's just not good. It's gonna be like a freight train. It's just not gonna stop until this is over. But anyway, Luca and Guts go up to this window, and Luca's gonna distract the person at the window while Guts sneaks in. Can you call this sneaking? Does this qualify as sneak? Because I feel like he's supposed to be sneaking, but it doesn't feel like sneaking. But anyway, Guts sneaks in, and the tidal wave of demons is completely out of control, and everybody runs away. And I guess he is sneaking because nobody seems to notice him, but we're also in the middle of such kind of like chaos that, they're not really looking for him either, in all fairness. And he snatches Farnace right out of the group, and I mean, he's just like, wham! And he proceeds to question her in the most aggressive way humanly possible, and then demands to be taken to Casca. And at this point in the story, to be quite honest, everything just completely goes full tilt insane. And I'll attempt to discuss as much as humanly possible, or at least what really stuck out to me the most, but I'm probably going to gloss over at least a few different things, so if I miss it, I'm sorry, but I did read it, I promise. But anyway, Mosgus, oh god, does battle with the demons. And then he ends up snatching up Casca and running away with her because he's going to go burn her at the stake. This is the solution to everything. And in the hallway, he's going to run into Luca and the gang, and he's going to knock them out of a window as he goes by, or a hole in the wall. And they're all going to dangle there for a minute until Luca, in true Luca fashion, is going to sacrifice herself for everyone else. But on her way down, she's caught by Skull Knight. Why? We don't know. And oh my god, does Guts know how to make an entrance. Actually, we get to see that Skull Knight was stalking this thing that snuck out of the room when Mozgus started to fight the demons. I kind of forgot to mention that. But anyway, for once, instead of Skull Knight just popping up because, you know, he had a feeling or something, he was legitimately doing something. He was stalking this creature down the side of the wall as it came out, and he was like, oh. And on his way down, he sees Luca let go and start falling, and he snatches her up simply because he legitimately wanted to understand why somebody would do something so strange as to try to kill themselves. Like, it didn't make sense to him. So he just catches her to be like, hey, the f*** was that? But back inside the tower, Guts is now doing battle with all of the Inquisitors, and suddenly they all have beautiful angel wings, which is just going to give Miura the opportunity to play with this juxtaposition of images, these real executioner with their hooded masks, this dark, gritty art of them, these demonic creatures, creepy little guys with these big, beautiful wings. He's going to use it as an opportunity to just go wild with the artwork, and it's truly wonderful. And some of the imagery that he's going to come up with is great. The way he's going to draw it and present it is just great. It looks really good. And, oh my God, can he just do action so well? The amount of kinetic energy that he can store in one still image is extremely impressive. And the big guy is going to lose his like sack mask, like that sack that he wears on his head. He's going to lose that. And have I mentioned before that Miura is just really good at drawing nightmare fuel? But anyway, we cut over to egg spider creature guy. And I'm not really super sure what all this was. Okay, so he started out as just a dude, which everything in this story seems to start out as, you know, just a person. And he's been beaten down by the world, and he's at the foot of the tower, and he digs a hole, and he lives in his hole, but they continue to stack bodies until the bodies start to fill his hole, and he starts to get buried in his hole by the bodies. At some point, he finds a behelit, and he uses that behelit to become a demon. This is all pretty typical for Berserk. But what isn't typical, or at least the part that I'm not entirely sure what is exactly going on, is the fact that he's a man who found a behelit to become a demon, but when he became a demon, he basically became a behelit with spider legs. So he used the behelit to become a behelit? I don't know, but his demonic power is to give demonic powers to other people? I'm not entirely sure, because he looks like a behelit with legs. He even says in there that people would visit him and he gave them powers, and it shows like a clip, a panel with like an angel wing and the cult leader guy. So he gave them their powers. I'm not super sure about this. But anyway, back to Guts, and he's doing more battle with the Inquisitors. And Birdman, my favorite by the way, is all like, Mozgus, you leave. We shall deal with this. You have business with Casca, and you need to burn this lady at the stake, sir. So now it's just him, Arnold Baby, and Guts. But real fast, back in the Garden of the Dead, you see how this is kind of leapfrogging? It's all over the f***ing place. It's really frantic in its pacing and its structure. But anyway, back in the Garden of the Dead, Skull Knight goes straight for the spider egg thing, like just dives right in there, doesn't even give him a chance, which of course he doesn't get him. And then he proceeds to give a little speech to Luca, and then he eats something. Like, what is it with Skull Knight and eating shit? I don't understand. And by the way, I am not gonna lie, Skull Knight, who is a character that I thought when I first met him was quite silly and over the top. And by the way, he is definitely those things. He was then, he is still now. He's definitely a little ridiculous and a little over the top. But he is very quickly becoming one of my favorite characters in the whole manga. But anyway, back in the tower, Guts is just absolutely tearing up Birdman and the Arnold Freak Baby. And I feel like I should say something about it because it's such a big fight scene, but it's pretty standard Berserk fight scene. So I don't know. I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong, it's really good. But it's, Berserk killing people as usual. But then we jump back to Skull Knight and Luca, and they are being surrounded by demonic energy, and Skull Knight is basically like, the time is ripe, it is beginning. And you're like, this doesn't sound good, does it? What's beginning, Skull Knight? But the tension really is starting to build, and I'm really enjoying this right now. But anyway, all this causes an earthquake, and the earthquake causes the whole damn tower to fall down. And a lot of stuff kind of goes crazy right now here all at once. Like, parts of the crowd are going crazy and being possessed. Parts of the crowd are putting up the stake to burn Casca. Farnace is falling off the collapsing tower, which the sneaky guy saves her. Guts sees all the forms of the God Hand within the shape of the demonic goo and goes nuts trying to attack it, but he can't really hurt them because they don't really exist. It also just lets you see what really is the forces at play way off in the background pulling the strings here. Who's really manipulating the situation from a distance? But basically we get this whole section of just getting all of our pieces in place for what's going to come next. Which of course ends in Skull Knight coming face to face with an old friend. But before that happens, Luca's gonna run off straight back to the tower, and Skull Knight's gonna be like, hey, you realize that if you do this, you're sure to die. And she just marches off without even listening to him, and he's just like, mad respect, girl. And then he turns to face Zod. By the way, I would really like to see these two actually fight at some point, rather than just constantly getting these dramatic with the two of them facing each other, and I just have to go off and do something else while they have fun. I don't appreciate it. I would really like to see it. But anyway, we get a scene of the spider egg crawling away because he's used up all of his powers apparently, and he's crawling up a wall, and he runs into the demon baby who's curled up there because he's used up all of his power protecting Casca. So they're both kind of wiped out. So the egg eats the baby, which nothing good can come of this. Nothing. And I don't know where it's going, but I don't want to know either. Would you please stop doing weird and creepy things? But that aside, they light Casca's stake on fire, and Isidro drops down and snatches her up and pulls her up. And what do you know? Isidro is useful for the first time ever in the whole series. I know it's not the first time, but it's the first time I've cared about anything that he's done. Stop typing. And of course Mosgus is going to go completely insane and charges him, when Guts mercilessly bursts onto the scene, and once again, it is glorious. And there are some things that Miura clearly enjoys writing and drawing with some of Guts's entrances and his just hero shots that he gets, because he does it over and over again, and I never get tired of it. And also there for a split second, Guts actually sees the spider egg and the demon baby fusion thing crawling up a wall, but there is literally no time for that because Mosgus is going to go full demon mode, which surprises absolutely nobody. I mean, we all saw it coming absolutely a mile away. But did you forget about the other two little Inquisitor guys? Because I sure did. And way to go, Jerome. I did not know you had it in you, boy. And also, yes, I saw Isidro helped. No typing. But anyway, okay, so now we get to the big Guts versus Mosgus fight. And I'm not gonna lie, this was a real low point for me in the arc. The art and the action is really good, as always, but at this point, the way the arc has been going, the manga has got my hype level maxed out. The hype at this point is real. And then we're going to go into a big fight with Mosgus. And I'm hyped for a climax that isn't this. And it's all fine. It's all fine. But the creature design isn't great. I really don't like the creature design of Mosgus. I mean, I just went on about how much I like the creature design of that goat guy. But the creature design on Mosgus I thought was just, meh. And yes, he's basically invulnerable, and it adds just a slightly tougher demon for Guts to fight. And it's, one step up, and he has to learn how to fight him, and he's going to have to get through the invulnerability, and it's overcoming another obstacle for Guts. I get it. But in the world, in terms of the Guts world, it just feels kind of samey for some of the previous things that he's had to go through. Oh no, fight the demon. The demon levels up. Oh, the demon has an extra power. It just felt samey, and it lasts too long, and I'm glad when it's over. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not bad by any stretch. It's just okay. And unfortunately, with where they had my hype level, to follow up that hype level with just okay was a letdown, to be honest. But, and this is a big but, that low point that we just went through is going to erupt into a very high point for this series for me, or at least this arc. When Guts and Casca are finally reunited, for real this time, and the demonic energy spills over in an absolute fury. And we see the egg baby demon thing, but the freaky looking demon baby now looks like a normal infant fetus. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Like, no. And I really like this next section. It starts with Luca saving Nina yet again and hiding in a well with a barrel or something. But then we get all the survivors from all the different factions. Some friends, some enemies, almost none of them friends. Just everyone standing on what's left of the wall, facing down this demonic black goo that's just overwhelmingly large and looming and powerful, and they're all basically huddled behind Guts, and they're going to stand their ground and survive the night faced with insurmountable odds. It literally will give you goosebumps. Everything goes kind of nuts for a minute, and I think Guts crushes his own behelit. I'm not entirely positive. I went back and looked at it like 3 times, like, did he really just crush that? I'm not sure. Whatever it was, it happened really fast. When you get another one of these God panels that I do not understand, I don't know. This one looks different though, but still, I'm holding off any and all theories and judgments on God yet. And then we suddenly get this panel, and now Griffith is reborn, obviously. And he's reborn from the demon baby? Or he was unable to take human form because he was a god hand, and now he made a new body for himself from the demon baby and the egg thing? Or the egg thing was the incubator for the demon baby to be the body? Or they all merged together to create a body? I have no idea what just happened. But they survived the night, and we get this amazingly beautiful panel, just a full page open shot of the dawn. And it is the most beautiful panel of the dawn, and leave it to Miura to make this artwork that is this stunningly beautiful feel awful, because we just got done with the birth of Griffith. And so you're breathing this sigh of relief because we have survived the night, but you're also, it almost feels like a celebration of the birth of Griffith, which feels wrong. Or almost like Griffith is dawning, which feels equally awful. So it is somehow beautiful and somehow a relief, but somehow really terrible. These are the moments that I'm just beside myself with how well this has been made. Crafted. I don't even know the words I want to use. But at least it's over. When the Bakaraka show up. Are you kidding me? Give my soul a break for a minute. But Zod breaks through the wall and Griffith is revealed, which is actually presented as pretty glorious when Griffith is revealed, but Guts takes it about as well as you would expect Guts to take it. But anyway, okay, wrapping up here. And that's literally how it feels as you're reading it. They're pretty much feels like they're like, okay, wrap it up. Zod takes Griffith and flies away, as an entire army shows up to pursue them. Then Guts follows him all by himself, just literally ripping through the army as he goes all by himself. The prostitutes live happily ever after, and Nina leaves the group because she's a terrible person and only hurts other people. Which is pretty much the conclusion that she comes to and why she leaves. I'm exaggerating, but it's kind of true. This really does end with a lot of personal revelations about side characters, kind of like in the Lost Children arc, which really threw me for a loop in the Lost Children. I wasn't ready for it and it caught me off guard. Also, I thought that one was really, really good. And if I'm being honest, I think the revelation, just speaking of the revelation that happens at the end, I think the revelation in the Lost Children arc was a much stronger revelation. I think it was better in general. I think these ones are weaker and just not as good. Not that there's anything wrong with them, they're fine. They're not bad, but and maybe it was the effect that one had on me, why I remember it so strongly, but these ones were like, okay, all right, that's fine, that's fair, you know. They just didn't feel as impactful as the revelation at the end of Lost Children. But really, in that vein, we're going to have some more revelations. One for Nina. You're going to have one for Farnace, which is she comes to terms with, she kind of loses her faith in at least the Holy See. And now she's going to go off alone. And she's going to quit the Holy See and go off alone in pursuit of Guts. But now she's just going to kind of follow him. Which kind of gave me mad Meryl vibes from the Trigun anime, if anyone knows what I mean by that. It's not the same at all, but to me I was like, oh cool. So all in all, this arc was a little bit harder to nail down compared to the Golden Age. It was a little bit more inconsistent in its awesomeness and a little bit more inconsistent with keeping my interest peaked. But it kept me on my toes so much that I never really felt comfortable with attempting to guess what was going to happen next. And then, of course, we get a completely whole new cast of characters, which were fine. There were a few standouts in the group, and there were a few that I just kind of put up with. Unfortunately, there were no huge standouts in this arc, like Judo from the last one, but in all fairness, at character work as a whole, Miura just excels at. He really does it stupendously well. But most of all, after reading this, I realized just how much of a juggernaut this story has become, and just how big it has become, and just how far we have come as a whole without me even realizing it. And even if I get bored with little bits here and there along the road as we go, at no point has any of it felt unnecessary in any way, shape, or form, or felt like filler, which for a story of this just size and magnitude is utterly impressive. So I really feel like I want to give this a 9 because it was really that good, but I just gave the last one a 9, and I don't know if this one's as good as the last one, but I've been giving them 8.5s. So I'm going to go 8.75. I'm like inventing a number. I don't think have I used a 7.5? I'm going to throw an 8.75 out there. It might be a 9 though. God. I don't know. But we're going to call it an 8.75 just because I don't know if it was as good as the Golden Age. Oh, I don't know. Like, I feel like this one had parts of it that might have been better than parts of the Golden Age, but I think the Golden Age as a whole felt stronger. I don't know, I'm going to call it an 8.75 just because I just don't know what else to call it. I could call it a 9 and be like, well, one's a better 9 than the other one, but I don't know. 8.75. That's enough. That's it. I'm done. I'm not talking about it or thinking about it anymore. Anyway, We'll re-rank all these in the end anyway. Anyway, thank you again, everybody, for watching, and I'll see you next time.